The truck was moving. That was the whole point. In the video, a gleaming semi glides down an open road, smooth and silent under its own power. The message was simple. This machine works. By 2018, that was what the world believed about Nikola. A young American company, a charismatic founder, a hydrogen truck that would do to diesel what Tesla had done to gasoline. Investors saw the future. The future had a logo and a valuation to match. The truck in that video had no working powertrain. It wasn't driving. It had been towed to the top of a shallow hill, released and filmed as it rolled down under nothing but gravity. What follows is how a truck that could not move became a company worth more than Ford. 8 facts, 1 conviction, and a number: $34 billion, built on a machine that never ran. Start with the unveiling, because that is where the story of the working truck begins and where it was already a lie. In December 2016, Trevor Milton stood on a stage in Salt Lake City and introduced the Nikola One. He called it fully functioning. The crowd saw a finished product. According to later reporting from Bloomberg, the truck on that stage lacked motors and gears. It was a shell, a design study dressed as a vehicle. The company would later lease 2 trucks and run them around a track to suggest the thing could drive. The impression was the product. The product did not exist. Then came the video that gave the fraud its name. In 2018, Nikola released a promotional clip titled Nikola One in Motion. The truck appeared to cruise down a highway, powerful and real. Hindenburg Research, a short-selling firm, later reported what actually happened. The truck had been rolled down an incline. When confronted, Nikola did not deny it. The company admitted the truck was not driving under its own propulsion. Read that phrase again. A truck company had to issue a statement clarifying that its truck was not, in fact, a truck that drove. The centerpiece of the pitch was a downhill roll, edited to hide the slope. The deception was not limited to one video. According to the Hindenburg report, Nikola dressed the part everywhere. Employees were allegedly told to cover branding on vehicles that were actually powered by natural gas, or simply towed. Tanks and equipment were reportedly labeled to look like proprietary hydrogen infrastructure the company did not own. The claim was that Nikola had built the future. The reality was borrowed hardware with the right stickers on it. And yet the money came anyway. That is the part that should stop you. In June 2020, Nikola went public through a merger, and its stock exploded. At its peak, around June 9th, the company's market value briefly passed $34 billion. That was more than Ford Motor Company, a firm that had been building and selling vehicles for over a century. Nikola had never sold a single production truck, not one. The market had valued an idea, a video, and a man's confidence above the entire manufacturing base of an American automaker. The confidence reached the people who could least afford to trust it. The SEC would later detail how Milton took his claims directly to retail investors, not in careful filings, but on Twitter, on podcasts, on television. He spoke past the analysts and straight to ordinary people watching from home, the ones who bought shares because a founder told them the truck was real and the technology was theirs. The reach was the weapon. He was not selling to institutions with due diligence teams. He was selling to anyone with a phone. For a moment, it worked well enough to fool the biggest player in the room. In September 2020, General Motors announced a $2 billion equity partnership with Nikola. This was the validation that erased any doubt. The largest automaker in America was buying in. 2 days earlier, Hindenburg had published its report, titled How to Parlay an Ocean of Lies into a partnership with the largest auto OEM in America. Within weeks, GM scaled the deal back to a small, supply-only arrangement. Then that fizzled too. The partnership that was supposed to prove Nikola real instead marked the moment the story began to collapse. The collapse became official when the company admitted it in writing. In February 2021, in an SEC filing, Nikola conceded that 9 specific statements it had made were partly or wholly inaccurate. Statements about its hydrogen production, statements about its proprietary technology. The company's own internal investigation had gone through the claims one by one and marked them false. Not spin, not optimism. 9 documented falsehoods, admitted by the company that made them. Then the bill arrived, and then the verdict. In December 2021, Nikola settled with the SEC for $125 million over misleading investors. The following year, the man himself faced a jury. On October 14, 2022, Trevor Milton was convicted on 3 counts, 1 of securities fraud, 2 of wire fraud. In December 2023, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison and a $1 million fine. The founder, who told the world his truck was fully functioning, was going to prison for the words he used to sell it. Strip everything away, and one fact remains. A company briefly worth more than Ford was built around a truck that had to be rolled down a hill to look like it moved. That is the shape of this particular fraud. Not a forged document buried in a spreadsheet. A slope, a camera, and a founder who understood that people don't invest in trucks. They invest in the feeling that they've seen the future first, before everyone else, while there's still money to be made. $34 billion gathered around that feeling. And when the video was explained, when the badges came off, when the 9 statements were marked false one by one, the feeling was all that had ever been there. The truck never drove. It only rolled. A company once worth more than Ford. A truck that had to be pushed down a hill to look like it moved. Every claim, catalogued, every number on the record, all of it documented and true. And yeah, that's real.